Achieving the Dream. We've already got over 30 people on the line this afternoon, and I think we're going to have some more join us as time goes by. This is the first time we have had a conference call with all of the Leader College liaisons, and so it's a brand new experiment to see if this serves a good purpose to help keep us together as a network, share important ideas, revelations, ask questions, and generally support our own learning and our own community of Leader Colleges. So let me just say thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We're going to try hard to make this a lively and helpful call, but we're also going to be asking you to give us some feedback and tell us whether or not this format, this approach is useful to you, or if there are some ways that we can improve it over time. So let us give it a go and see how this works for all of you. And I will first start by asking those who are on the conference call from Achieving the Dream to introduce themselves. I am the Senior Vice President at Achieving the Dream, and I've known many of you for a long, long time. So I feel like I'm having a chat with old friends, and I'm really, really glad that we are able to share some time together this afternoon. With that, I will ask my other colleagues who are on the phone to say who they are.
Hi, I'm Nicole Melander. I joined Achieving the Dream 2 months ago now, approximately August 1st. I'm the Chief Technology Officer, as you can see from the slide. And so I'm responsible for infusing technology into everything we do, and look forward to meeting all of you and learning from you over the coming months.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary Cipollone, and I am a graduate intern at Achieving the Dream. You've all received many emails from me at this point. I was working with the organization full-time over the summer, and now that I'm back in Michigan at graduate school, I'm working part-time and excited to be organizing these conference calls for you.
And Mary is going to also talk to us a little bit about, later on, a little bit how to use some of the technology that we're using for this webinar this afternoon. So Mary's going to be coming in and out, explaining a few things, and she's also the one that's at the master controls. If you're having problems with this webinar, you need to be sending her a little note, and she's going to try to fix all of those problems. Nicole is our backup person. She knows everything there is to know about technology, right, Nicole? She's being quiet on
Yeah,
me, but anyway.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I couldn't click fast enough, but I thought I'd make you panic for a minute there.
We're counting on the two of you to help us through if we have any problems. But first, let me just say, we want to give a really big congratulations to the colleges that are joining the ranks of Leader Colleges. And Mary, I know I'm going a little bit out of order here, so forgive me for jumping to a different slide. But that's the one that I'm seeing on my screen right now, the congratulations slide. And these are the 23 institutions that recently qualified as Leader Colleges. We couldn't be more pleased that we had 23 make it this time, because what this has done now is it's helped us to get to over 50 of the Achieving the Dream colleges are now Leader Colleges. And a while back, the initiative had established a goal for itself of getting 50 Leader Colleges by the year 2013. But here we are in 2012, and we're already at that goal and a little bit past that goal. So it's really a testament to the work that all of you are doing. It's really an honor that I hope all of you are very, very pleased to have gained. It's an important thing that you can use. The Leader College status is something that you can use to leverage your fundraising, and it's something also that means a great deal within our network. It means you are exemplars. It means that you are ones we are going to be turning to ask, how do you do some of these things that we've all found so challenging over the years? So congratulations to those of you who are new in the Leader College group, and thank you so much for all the hard work you've been doing. I want to say just one more thing about the Leader Colleges this year, Mary, if you'll let me go back. One of the things that really impressed us this year was how many of the colleges were submitting data that were for the whole cohorts of students. You know, we've allowed a lot of flexibility in the Leader College process, and it's possible for colleges to submit data for groups of students who are really a subset or a target population that you've been working intensively with. If you can still show significant upward trends over 3 years, it's possible to meet the data requirements in that fashion. But this year there was, it seemed to me, an unusual number of colleges who were attaining Leader College status because they were able to show that they're moving whole cohorts of students, perhaps on a persistence measure, perhaps on a measure that was showing movement out of developmental education into gateway courses. And that really is a significant evolution of Achieving the Dream's work, I believe, because it's showing that we're starting to learn how you can help whole cohorts of students improve, not just small groups that get very targeted, intensive strategies and interventions aimed at them. So congratulations to those of you that did have that kind of accomplishment. I think you're setting a bar for the future when we're going to want to see more and more colleges able to move the trend lines for whole cohorts. Mary?
Yes. All right. So I am just going to take a second to go over our agenda. The first thing we're going to do is spend a few minutes making sure you all know how to use the GoToWebinar control panel. Carol already welcomed our new Leader Colleges. We're going to take 10 minutes discussing the structure and content of these monthly calls to make sure they're working for you. The next topic is fulfilling your responsibilities as a Leader College, and we're going to take 20 minutes for this discussion. And then we're going to wrap up with 10 minutes of Achieving the Dream business. Okay, so we've chosen to use a webinar format to make it as interactive and engaging for you as possible. This is the first time I'm using this technology, so please be patient if there are any glitches, but hopefully everything will run smoothly. You should all see a control panel that looks similar to the one on the slide on your screen. Now, if you don't see it, it could be because it's minimized. If you don't touch the control panel for a while, it shrinks itself. So right here where it says letter B, this little grab tab is what you need to press to open that control panel back up. In addition to that, right here you have a feature to raise your hand. So all of your sound devices are on mute, but if you raise your hand because you would like to ask a question or make a comment, I can then unmute you and invite you to speak. So let's just give that a try to make sure everyone can figure out how to use it. Why don't we all just raise our hands right now? All right, I see some hands raised. Good. Great. Okay. The next thing I wanted to point out to you is the questions log. Right here is a space where you can, rather than raising your hand to speak, you can type in a question. And that'll allow you to check in with us by typing as opposed to speaking. Also during the discussion today, we're going to be taking a few polls. So when those times happen, a poll will pop up on your screen, and you can just click on the answers there to give us your feedback live time. And the only other thing I want to point out on this screen is the attendee list. Right on your panel, you can see the 46 people who are present and participating in this webinar. Okay, so that's all I have. I'm going to pass it back to Carol to talk about the structure and content of these monthly calls.
Okay, thank you, Mary. So as she gets a new screen, there we go. We are doing these calls because last year, several times during the year, we did surveys of Leader College liaisons and also Leader College presidents. We also had a half-day session at last year's Strategy Institute with the Leader College presidents, asking them what were the kinds of supports that Achieving the Dream could provide that would help keep Leader Colleges connected and learning from one another and advancing the work of the initiative. So one of the strong recommendations that came out is give us a mechanism for keeping the Leader College liaisons in touch. That's what this monthly call is about. We decided that the presidents probably would not like to be on this call every month. They would probably count on you to share with them anything that you learn or you think is significant for the president to be aware of. But we think this is who is going to be on the call each month, the liaisons. And often you are also the core team leaders at colleges, but not exclusively. We have started with the idea that perhaps the webinar should last for 1 hour. So Mary is going to take a poll of all of you right now to see how you feel about that. It may be that you're going to change your opinion after you've been with us for an hour today, but for right now, we'd just like to get a quick sense of your schedules and your thinking. Is this worth 1 hour of your time? Is it really hard for you to give up that amount of time? It would be better if it were 45, better if it were 30. Obviously, the length of these calls will determine how much content we can pack into them, but we want to be respectful of the amount of time you may not have to give to this on a monthly basis. So go ahead and vote and let Mary see whether or not people are able to make that technology work so that we can see generally now at this point in time how you're feeling about the length of these calls.
Right now, almost 90% of you have voted, so I'm going to give it a couple more seconds just to get the final votes in. Okay, great. I'm going to close the poll and we'll take a look at the results. So, as you can see, 52% of you thought it would be better to spend 45 minutes for this call. So we'll go ahead for next month and schedule a 45-minute call because it sounds like that might be a better time frame for everyone. Thanks for your feedback.
Great. Okay, good. So the second part of the structure that we want to talk about is, again, based on the feedback from surveys and discussions, we think that the format that will work well is for us to focus primarily on presentations by Leader College liaisons, allowing time for discussion by the group. There may be some business that we want to conduct, such as today. I've got a few announcements towards the end of the call. But generally speaking, it's meant to be a call to have you have conversation with each other as best we can using this technology. We'll be looking for some volunteers in a little bit to try to do that. I will just add that this format of having some local liaisons do presentations is similar to a format we're using on the monthly conference call that we have with your program information officers. And those are going pretty well with strong attendance based on fairly quick, short presentations by one or more of the PIOs, and then an opportunity for discussion among the rest. So we're going to give that a shot and see how it works. The Leader College liaisons will be asked to volunteer. If you've got something that you think fits what the overall group said that they're interested in, then we would love to have you step up and say, I'm willing to do next month. Here's something I think would be compelling for all of us to talk about. The calls will be recorded so that there's a record. You can go back to it, or if you miss a call and really want to know what happened, there will be a way for you to access the content. And then finally, what we wanted to mention to you was the listserv that we created for Leader Colleges is actually including the presidents. We're wondering whether or not we shouldn't have a listserv that is just for you as liaisons so that we can have this quick way of communicating back and forth without loading up your president's inbox and having your president say, why aren't you taking care of this? So I think Mary is going to be doing another poll on that question at this point in time.
Here it comes. I think my screen might have disappeared. Hold on one second. Okay, looks like you guys can see it. I have 23% of people voting. Great, more than half of you. You guys are quick voters. Excellent.
They're used to using clickers in their classes.
95%. Okay, I'm just going to give it 2 more seconds for you to get your vote in. And now I'm going to close the poll. Great. So as you can see, 81% of you are interested in having this kind of listserv. So we will go ahead and put that together for you.
Very good. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so moving along. On the next slide,
Here it comes.
which we'll get up here in a second, these are some of the things that you have suggested might be the content for these monthly calls. Some of you wanted to know how could you share tips about securing funding for the Achieving the Dream work. Many of you are self-funding institutions. Others of you, even though you may have support from a foundation for at least some of your expenses, are really looking for resources to cover the cost of brand new programs and intervention strategies that you want to use at your college. So that was one topic people said they were interested in. Another one was trying to organize yourself for a site visit by another college. Several of the leader colleges have been doing a lot of hosting. I know that El Paso has certainly been doing that. Valencia has, and I suspect many others. South Texas, I believe, has done some as well, Patrick Henry. So there's probably some lessons from these folks who've been doing this for a while around how you get yourself ready so that the time is well spent, you're well organized, and you're not breaking your back and neglecting your day job when you're preparing for and hosting other colleges. A third topic that people have recommended is discussion about effective practices, what really works in your experience and under what context and conditions. That's always a topic of interest no matter when we get together. A fourth area that people have talked about is learning how to share strategies for scaling successful interventions. More than just how to find the funds for them, but how to actually plan and prepare and make that happen. I think there's a lot we could all share and learn on that topic. And then another one that we've heard a lot about is talking more about how to improve our capacity for evaluating interventions, both the quantitative evaluations as well as the qualitative evaluations. So what we're going to do, until we hear more from you, we're going to start organizing these calls around these topics that seem to have bubbled up from the surveys we've been doing. We'd love to have those of you who want to volunteer in any of these areas to identify yourself and volunteer. But we're also interested in what other topics could be exciting ones for you to either present on or hear other folks give their good ideas. So you're not going to be doing voting right now on this particular topic, but it is something that over time we want to hear from you. Mary, is there any particular way you want folks to be sharing those kinds of suggestions with us?
Yeah, people can send me emails, but if anybody has any ideas right now about topics you'd really like to see on these monthly calls, you can go ahead and submit them right now via the questions pane on your webinar.
And I might just stop here for a little bit. I think we have a couple minutes we could ask. Are there any quick reactions to this list? Did we seem to grab the ones that were most compelling for you? Is there anybody that wants to comment on whether these are the right topics to focus on over the next several calls?
Chris Johnson says this list looks good. Steady Muno also says this is a good list. John Brockman says looks fine to me. And I have a hand raised from Berkeley Ramsey. So Berkeley, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Okay, Berkeley, you're unmuted. Go ahead. That feature maybe isn't working. Berkeley, can you try again? No. Okay, let me try with Belinda has her hand raised too. Let me try with you, Belinda, see if this works. Go ahead, Belinda.
Belinda from Cuyahoga. I'm in agreement.
Great. Thank you, Belinda.
Did the rest of you get a lot of echoing on that like I did?
I did, yes. So we'll
Yeah.
try and work on that. Deborah King, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
I'm in agreement. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Great. I'm navigating this slowly, but it seems to be working very well.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Hey, this is Nicole. I'm just going to jump in for a second. So so I see that almost all of you are using your microphone and speakers on your computer. So snaps to all of you. That's awesome. So when you're getting echoes and things like that, could be if you are not wearing a headset. So if your speaker is through your computer and your microphone is through your computer, that's where that echo comes from. So I'll go ahead and remute myself. I just wanted to interject that.
Great. Okay. Berkeley, I'm going to try one more time for you since we didn't get you last time. Let's see. No. Could be that your speakers are not working properly. All right. I have a couple more comments from my questions section. Helen Grove says, coordinating Achieving the Dream initiatives with other student success initiatives and funder expectations. That's a great suggestion, so we'll add that to our topics. And let me see if anybody else. Stephanie Janie has her hand raised. Okay, Stephanie, you should be unmuted. Stephanie? No, we don't hear you. Okay, sorry about this, guys. Let's see. Try one more time. Stephanie? No. Okay.
Well, this is good. I appreciate everybody's patience with this. This is showing us where some of our technology is not working as best we had hoped, so we will certainly work on that before the next call because we don't want this kind of slowdown in the future. But we'll get it right, and I appreciate your patience.
Yeah, we'll send out, this is Nicole again, we'll send out some specific instructions about what you need at your end if you want to participate voice over IP over your computer. I'll take responsibility. I didn't anticipate so many of you coming in that way, and that we'll give you a way to easily test and make sure your mic and speakers are working properly.
Great. I have a couple more comments in the question section. Pam says she likes the list, especially the topic of qualitative evaluation and funding. Jan Bonanno says, looks like a good list. She's from Bunker Hill. Ann Kuhn agrees that it looks like a good list. Jan Linden says, what works might also be a topic covered well in the Strategy Institute. How will this topic be distinguished in these webinars from the presentations in the Strategy Institute? So I think, you know, the idea of effective practices and student success and how we can distinguish what we're doing here from the presentations in the Strategy Institute. Greg Hodges says, I think that if we can cover all of these, we'll be ahead of the game and we'll find these calls to be very useful. Chris suggests the topic of integrating strategic planning and accreditation with strategies and scale up. And okay, yeah, I think that's it here, Carol.
Okay, thanks, Mary. We'll get these ideas written up and typed up and sent back out to folks using whatever technology makes the most sense. Let's move on now. And the main topic we were going to discuss today was how to fulfill your responsibilities as a leader college. Most of you have probably read the literature pretty well on this because you were doing your applications. Many of you were doing your applications recently this springtime. But you will recall in there that one of the major ideas about being a leader college is to be a mentor to other Achieving the Dream colleges. And that really can take all kinds of forms. We've seen many examples of how colleges are perhaps playing the host to a site visit for a team that's coming in, we think there may be additional roles that the leader colleges can play in the future with the new colleges that are coming on board. So we're interested in exploring with you some ideas for what might you do if a college is coming into the 2012 cohort and they are just beginning their ATD experience. What have you got to offer them by way of advice, support, and ongoing mentoring or peer coaching, which is probably the term we're going to start using rather than mentoring. That, I would say, is the biggest expectation we have of the leader colleges in terms of the internal support of the network. There's lots of details about leader college application and responsibilities in that brochure that has been listed on the screen. I just want to mention a couple of other things that you'll find in there. We also expect that leader colleges are going to be strong advocates for Achieving the Dream principles and practices, that they're going to be playing an active role in disseminating lessons from their work inside our network as well as nationally when you have the opportunity. We certainly are expecting leader colleges to be active with their state policy teams when they're in place, to make sure that they're aware of what you're doing and what kinds of policy implications your work has. We certainly expect that you'll remain active in all ways in the Achieving the Dream learning community, being participants in the annual Strategy Institute, and generally speaking, being available to always share what you're learning along the way. I want to just mention a couple of things that a few of you have done, and then I want to open it up and see if you have some comments to make on the responsibilities or questions about your responsibilities. But in some of the cases, these results on the screen right now are from a survey we did recently where you reported the kinds of things you've been doing that you thought were indicative of your responsibility as a leader college. And you'll see the presentations at conferences, the visitation days, and some of these other things that I've mentioned. But I just want to call out a couple of things that have really been powerful that from what I'm hearing from you. I heard from our friends at Phillips Community College, a new leader college, that one of the best things they have done is to send a team to El Paso Community College to learn how El Paso was working with their school districts and doing some of the other things where they're really tackling issues of developmental education reform and better alignment with the K through 12 institutions. I hear that over and over again, that the visitations really are powerful experiences, that teams go home feeling rejuvenated, excited, and inspired to do things back on their own campus. So we're hopeful that we can help support that and possibly even find some resources to help support that kind of activity in the coming year. Another thing I'll just call out, Brazosport has recently done something that I think is just phenomenal. They are taking a strong look at structural inequity, and they're doing a lot of conversation and work with their faculty about this issue. They recently had David Dodson from MDC come to their college and do a presentation with faculty on structural inequity, explaining what it was, how it plays itself out, how it gets in the way of student success and completion. And now what Brazosport is going to do, besides bringing David to their campus, they videotape the experience, they're going to edit the film, they're going to make that film available to everybody that's in Achieving the Dream. And they're really doing this with their own resources. We are not paying Brazosport to do all of this production, but it's an opportunity for their college that has the capacity to do this. They have the people on staff who know how to make these things happen. That's one of the things that they have volunteered to do. It's going to have an impact on all of us and give us a beautiful tool in that Structural Resources Center that we have on our website. So we encourage you to be innovative in the ways that you think you can give to your colleagues and support one another. Let me stop there and see if any of you wish to comment on this or to ask questions about how you can best fulfill your responsibilities.
So again, you can raise your hands if you'd like to comment, or you can type a question in that question box and I'll go ahead and read it for you. Some of the questions that are on the screen are, topics you might like to comment on, but anything that's related to fulfilling responsibilities as a leader college that you think is relevant to discuss, now it's a good time for that.
And if we don't have people saying, I've got questions about my responsibilities, I'd love to hear another example of something that somebody's doing that they think is really fulfilling this mission of being a strong leader college.
I read all your surveys, so I know you're doing great work. Don't be shy.
While we're waiting to see if anything bubbles up, I will say another thing that I've been experiencing is this past week I went to the Rural Community College Alliance annual convention, and two presidents went with me to present. One was a leader college president. I will say that was one of the most powerful presentations I've seen. We've been asking presidents and other leader college reps to go with us when we go out at national conventions. We're getting to the point now where you have powerful stories to tell and you have data to back it up. So for me, that is another tremendous service that leader colleges can provide by being out there in the front. I think in the community college world, community college people like to hear from community college people. They much prefer to talk to one another than they do to have others come in and try to tell them what it's like to do their work. So the more you're willing to go out there, the better that is, I think, in general for what we're trying to accomplish in creating a movement across the country with people committed to this student success agenda.
So Chris Johnson has his hand raised. Chris, I unmuted you. Why don't you tell us where you're calling from, and you can go right ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Johnson. I'm the Institutional Research Director at Renton Technical College in Washington State. Can you all hear me?
Yes, you sound great.
Okay, one thing that we're doing is we have 10 new Achieving the Dream colleges here in Washington, and Renton is working together to help them develop cohort models at their individual colleges. We have an arrangement between Renton and one of the new colleges, Whatcom Community Colleges, which is up near Canada, and my data analyst is helping them set up their cohort tracking model, and she goes up there once a week to do that. And we hope to share this best practice with the other 9 colleges in the future. But this is we have this arrangement right now, and she's been going up there for about the past month and a half. So that's what we're doing.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Chris. And I have a couple comments here in the question box. Pam Millsap says, when Dr. Trueheart sent us our letter of acceptance as a leader college, the letter referred to an attachment about our responsibilities. Is this brochure mentioned on the slide something that is available on the ATD website? Yes. So that was the brochure that Carol was referring to on the previous slide. And it is available on the website, but I'll go ahead and make sure to email it to you so that you have a copy in hand, Pam. I have another question from Greg Hodges, or another comment. Oh, Greg is talking about the SCALE initiative at, is it Phillips Community College, training faculty from across the country in active and cooperative learning strategies. And William Heineman is talking about Northern Essex College. They recently presented to the Los Angeles Community College District Annual Summit on Achieving the Dream. And he says these colleges are just starting the Achieving the Dream process.
Let me
George
just,
Gabriel,
Mary,
go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on that. I wanted to let Northern Essex know that I heard from the superintendent, or I guess it's the vice chancellor in the LA district, that that was a superb presentation and visit that you made, and they were very appreciative.
That's great to hear. Okay. And George Gabriel, I believe, is from Northern Virginia Community College, and he says, we're constantly answering questions from colleges who want to know about redesigning developmental courses. Patrick Henry Community College. Thanks, Greg. Sorry about that. Great. Let me see if I have any more hands raised here. No, I think that's it, Carol.
Okay, good. Well, those are great examples. The one where Renton Tech was talking about helping people with cohort data, that's an exciting proposition. I know that getting the cohort data together is one of the first daunting tasks that we give to our colleges, and because it is the first time that they do it, there's a lot of angst around it, and there's new systems that have to be set up and so forth. So I think it's a great idea to be able to help some of your colleagues that aren't physically too far away if you can do that. And I just bet that there's a tremendous amount of appreciation from the staff who just can kind of have someone who's been through it say, you know, this isn't all that hard, let me help you.
I have one more hand raised here, Carol, from Wayne Giles. Wayne, you're unmuted. Go ahead. We don't hear you, Wayne. Okay, could be Wayne's speaker isn't plugged in. Wayne, if you want to submit something via the questions text message, go right ahead. Sorry about that. Okay, Chris said thanks, Carol, for your comment earlier. All right.
All right. Well, let's, in the interest of time, let's move on. This is the part where I said we had a little bit of business to do with you today. We wanted to make sure that you're following some of the deadlines that are coming up for sometimes new opportunities for resources, some opportunities for awards, and then the NYSOD conference. So let me start with the Leah Meyer Austin Award. I think all of you are probably pretty familiar with the fact that this is an annual award we make. We usually announce it at the Strategy Institute each year. Some of you have been recipients of this award. We hope that many of you, if not all of you, are going to submit applications for this award this year. It's an extreme honor to get this award. It does signal that you are working hard on the student success agenda and that you've been doing many, many things in a manner that is helping to produce better student outcomes. It is a $25,000 prize. I think the honor is worth as much as the prize dollars itself. Again, it's something that you can leverage as you're trying to do your fundraising because it's starting to be recognized as a prestigious award. And only Achieving the Dream colleges can get this award. Sometimes in some years there have been, I wouldn't call them runner-up awards, but there have been awards, smaller amounts, $5,000, for colleges that really submitted powerful applications, and if we could have selected more than one, they would have been right up there. That's always an individual decision each year whether there's resources to do that. But minimally, the one award of $25,000 will be made this year, and the due date for submitting your proposals is November 11th. Secondly, I wanted to mention, we think that by the end of this week, if we get clearance from all of the review folks that have to be checked in with, we believe we will be releasing an RFP either Thursday or Friday of this week, looking for 3 colleges that want to be part of an experimental financial empowerment pilot program. The idea is that colleges that have been doing some version of financial literacy instruction, as well as perhaps even using volunteers to provide some financial coaching, would compete for grants that would enable them to take their work to the next level. They would also be helping us develop some tools that we can use for the whole Achieving the Dream network over time, so that we can strengthen the way colleges are helping their students understand how to manage their money, how to grow their assets, and how to really plan for emergencies as well as long-term expenses, such as how do you set money aside to eventually get a home, how do you prepare for additional educational costs, and so forth. If you're interested in growing what you're doing in that area, you've already been doing some of this, then we're interested in having you apply for this RFP. The amount of money that the colleges would be applying for is $65,000 each. We're looking for 3 colleges willing to work on this for the next couple of years. That we are estimating that the due date on that will be November 1. As soon as we get clearance from the legal department and some other things that have to look at the RFP, we'll make a decision of whether the November 1 is solid. We want to give you adequate time to respond to the RFP, so we might have to shift that date if we are delayed anymore in releasing the RFP. And third, I want to mention the NISOD conference that every year is held over the Memorial Day holiday. This year it's May 27 to 30 in Austin. Last year we had a leader college, I believe it was Valencia. Valencia volunteered to organize some sessions so that faculty from Achieving the Dream colleges could get together at the NISOD conference and talk about some of the work they were doing. There were 2 sessions last year, one on Sunday and one on Tuesday at the conference. NISOD has asked us if we would like to do that again if they want us to save space. We've told them, yes, we do. And so what we'll be interested in is knowing if any of you as leader colleges want to volunteer to try to put a program together for one or the other of those 2 slots that would give you a chance to get together and face-to-face, particularly your faculty from your schools. NISOD brings together over 3,000 faculty every year. It's probably, I think it is very much the biggest convocation of faculty in the higher education arena. So if you are interested in doing that, then we would like to hear from you about your ideas of what the session might look like this year. Let me stop and see if there's any questions about any of these 3 items that we've just mentioned.
Okay, Joyce Romano has a question. Carol, she says, how will you be distributing the RFP for the financial management strategies for student success?
We intend to send it through the team leader listserv. We probably should also send it to the president's listserv and to the leader college listserv. That could mean that some of you are going to get it multiple times. But if that would be useful to make sure you really see it, we're happy to hit all of those listservs.
Okay, and Jan Linden asks, will there be Achieving the Dream associated sessions at the AACC conference?
We have put in a host of proposals for the AACC convention. AACC makes, they do an extensive review process, and then they decide which sessions they're going to invite, so we don't really know how many are going to be selected. We also know that every year the colleges themselves put in a lot of proposals. So I'm hopeful that leader colleges have done that. The deadline was yesterday for submission to the convention.
See if I have any hands raised here. Does anybody else have any questions about the either financial management strategies, the Learmeyer Austin Award, or the NISOD conference? Wayne Giles wants to know if the coaches will receive the RFP for the financial management strategies.
Oh, good question, good reminder. Yes, we'll send it to the coach listserv and to the data coach listserv as well.
Great. Thanks, Wayne.
Just as a general note, because I know we have some coaches and data coaches on the line, our policy, our practice is that if we send something out to the team leader listserv or now to the leader college listserv, we also let you know that it went out. Same with the president's listserv. We want you to be aware of what is being communicated to your site. So that is our standard operating procedure. We try not to be forgetful about that.
Okay. I think that's all I have over here, Carol.
All right, good. So here we are at 4:45 East Coast time, and we're to the point now where we really can summarize what's going to happen next time we get together. We are looking at a November call on November 1 at 4 p.m. East Coast time. We will, as Mary said, because of the poll we took earlier, we will schedule that one for 45 minutes. The topic that we would like to work on is how to secure outside funding for Achieving the Dream work. We will be looking for one or more of you who wishes to lead part of that discussion and share some of the things you've done. So please let us know if you're willing to do that. If we don't hear from any of you, then we will probably call up some of you that we know have much to say about that topic. I think for this first time out trying that structure, it probably would be smart for us to stick to this topic, and then after that we'll find a way of going topic by topic according to your highest preferences. Mary, is there anything else you want to say about the next conference call?
Yes, if you do know already that you're excited to present on this topic, you can send me a message right now using the questions feature on the webinar. And Wayne has his hand raised. Wayne, let's see if we can get your microphone to work this time. Go ahead, you're unmuted. No luck, Wayne. Okay, go ahead and try via the question format again. And then while we are waiting, the last thing I wanted to do is take one quick poll just to evaluate this meeting. So this is a multi-answer poll I'm going to launch right now. You can check as many statements as you agree with. So this call was useful and informative. I will participate in this call monthly. I will recommend that others participate in this call. I enjoyed the webinar format, or this call did not meet my expectations. And again, check as many boxes as you like. 72% of you have already responded. %. Great, I'm going to leave it open for about 5 more seconds just to get the last few of you in there. Okay, let's take a look at the results. Okay, so 82% of you thought this was a useful, informative call. That's good. Most of you are going to participate in this call every month, and some of you will recommend that others participate. Looks like about 3/4 of you enjoyed the webinar format, and 8% of you were not particularly satisfied. So for those 8%, I encourage you to send us emails, communicate with us, any suggestions you have for making this time more useful to you. Again, you know, this is time for you to all interact and share with each other, and we definitely want to make it work for you.
So our pledge is to try to fix this technology that didn't work, the part that didn't work for us today, to listen to the feedback we get from you, to go for the 45 minutes next time to try to make this a useful activity for you, and to always listen to how we can make this better. If there's ever anything else you'd like to suggest to us, please drop us a line. With that, I think we're ready to close up a few minutes early. We weren't exactly at 45 minutes, but I've got 4:49 on my clock, so it looks like we came in between that 45-minute and 60-minute time frame. And I again thank all of you for participating, and thank you again for being leader colleges.
Bye-bye.